The date did not fail. She laughed. She held your eyes a little longer than necessary. She did not seem to be in a hurry to leave, and when you said goodbye, you were almost certain there would be another meeting. Then something changed. Her messages became shorter. The warmth disappeared. The woman who seemed interested suddenly became busy, distant, and difficult to understand. So you replay the evening in your head. You examine every word, every pause, every small mistake. But what if the date really did go well? What if she did feel something? And what if that was part of the reason she pulled away? Attraction and readiness are not the same thing. A person can enjoy your attention, feel chemistry, and still be completely unprepared for what comes next. Today, I want to talk about the distance that sometimes appears after a beautiful beginning. Not as a psychologist, not as a dating coach, simply as a man who has lived long enough to see this happen many times. For many years, I have worked around women, fashion, beauty, and high heels. I have watched how a pair of shoes can change posture, how posture can change mood, and how mood can change the way a woman enters a room. But I have also learned something more important. Appearance can create a moment. It cannot create emotional readiness. A perfect dress can help a woman feel beautiful. A pair of heels can make her walk differently. A confident man can make an evening feel exciting. But none of these things can force someone to be ready for intimacy. And sometimes we confuse the beauty of a moment with the beginning of a relationship. They are not always the same. During a first meeting, two people are not only seeing each other, they are also seeing possibilities. But she does not yet know all your habits, your fears, your history, or the difficult parts of your character. You do not know hers. For a few hours, both of you are partly real and partly imagined. This is not necessarily deception. It is simply how first impressions work. We fill empty spaces with hope. A look becomes a promise. A pleasant conversation becomes compatibility. Chemistry becomes a possible future. Then the evening ends. The music stops. She goes home. And the real world returns. Now the question is no longer whether she enjoyed the evening. The question becomes whether she wants this man to enter her life. That is a much heavier question. Some people are comfortable with attraction when it remains light and undefined. But when attraction begins to require a decision, they step back. Not because nothing happened. Sometimes because something did. This is the first mistake many men make. They assume that distance proves the attraction was fake. But attraction can be genuine and still not be strong enough to overcome fear, uncertainty, bad timing, or emotional history. And there is another possibility. Sometimes her interest does not disappear by itself. Sometimes we accidentally push it away. After a good meeting, uncertainty can be uncomfortable. You want confirmation. You want to know that she felt what you felt. So you send a message. Then another. You become more available than you were before the date. You begin explaining your intentions. You try to secure the next meeting before the feeling has had time to breathe. The behavior may look romantic from the inside. From the outside, it can feel like pressure, especially when the confidence she saw in person is replaced by a man waiting anxiously for reassurance. There is nothing wrong with showing interest. A mature man should be able to express what he wants. But interest and urgency are different things. Interest says, "I enjoyed meeting you, and I would like to see you again." Urgency says, "Please tell me immediately that I have not lost you." A woman may not explain this difference. She may only feel it. The man who appeared calm and grounded now seems to need an answer from her in order to remain calm. And attraction often struggles when it becomes responsible for another person's emotional balance. When I was younger, I sometimes believed persistence was proof of strength. Age taught me that persistence can also be a refusal to accept reality. Strength is not sending 5 messages instead of 1. Strength is being clear once and remaining steady afterward. There is another reason someone can pull away after a strong first impression. During the first meeting, you may have shown her your best version. That is natural. But perhaps you were also performing. Perhaps every story was selected to impress her. Every opinion was adjusted to match hers. Every compliment was designed to produce a result. For one evening, performance can look like confidence. But people often feel the difference later. Real confidence contains a certain freedom. It does not constantly ask whether something worked. It does not need immediate confirmation that she likes you. And it does not obsess over what should be said next. A confident man is attentive, but he is not auditioning. He does not agree with everything. He does not advertise himself like a product. He is not trying to win every second of the interaction. This is something the fashion business taught me very clearly. Luxury is rarely loud. A beautiful shoe does not run after a woman and explain why she should want it. It has form. It has character. It is presented well. Then the woman decides whether it belongs in her life. Human beings are not products, of course, but dignity works in a similar way. When you try too hard to prove your value, you may accidentally communicate that you do not believe in it yourself. Now we reach a more difficult truth. Sometimes a healthy connection does not feel exciting to a person who has learned to associate love with uncertainty. If someone has spent years chasing unavailable partners, calm attention may feel strange. Consistency can feel boring. Respect can feel suspicious. A direct answer can feel less exciting than a confusing one. This is not only about women. Men do it too. Many people say they want peace, but emotionally they are still attracted to chaos. They want a mature relationship, but inside, they are still waiting for the old drama. When drama does not arrive, they think chemistry is missing. You cannot repair this by becoming more attractive. You cannot solve it with a more expensive dinner. And you cannot argue someone into feeling safe with you. A man sometimes takes this personally. He thinks that if he were more handsome, richer, younger, or more successful, she would not pull away. Perhaps, but perhaps her distance is not a measurement of your value. Perhaps it is a measurement of her capacity at this moment in her life. Knowing the difference can save you years of unnecessary self-doubt. Modern dating has created one more problem. The feeling that another option is always waiting. Another profile. Another message. Another person who might be slightly more attractive, more interesting, or more exciting. This is the endless runway I have spoken about before. People keep walking. People keep looking. But very few stop long enough to discover what is beyond the first impression. A promising connection can now be abandoned before it has the chance to become real. Not because something is wrong, because something else might be better. This creates a strange culture. Everyone wants to be chosen. Few people want to make a choice. Everyone wants clarity. Few people want to risk giving it first. So a woman may genuinely enjoy meeting you and still return to the endless selection. A man may do exactly the same. The result is not freedom. The result is exhaustion, disguised as opportunity. So what should you do when she pulls away? First, do not panic. Distance is information. Let it be information before you turn it into a story about your worth. Second, be clear. If you enjoyed meeting her, say so. If you want another meeting, invite her. One honest message is stronger than a week of strategic texting. Third, watch her actions. Not the warmth of one evening. Not the symbol she used in a message. Not how quickly she viewed your latest post. Watch whether she makes room for you in her real life. Genuine interest does not always move quickly, but it usually moves in both directions. Fourth, do not punish her for being uncertain. Do not send sarcastic messages. Do not make wounded speeches. Do not attempt to make her jealous. If she is not ready, anger will not make her ready. And finally, know when to step back. Self-respect is recognizing the moment when an invitation has become a negotiation. You should not have to convince someone to be curious about you. You should not have to chase basic communication. And you should not spend weeks trying to recover the warmth of a single evening. At 50, I no longer believe every connection must be saved. Some meetings are not beginnings. They are simply meetings. Some people enter our lives to stay. Others appear for one evening and show us something about ourselves. If she pulls away, give her enough space to reveal the truth. Perhaps she will return with clarity. Perhaps she will not return at all. Both outcomes are better than living inside confusion. Do not become bitter. She does not owe you attraction because you treated her well. But you do not owe her endless waiting because she once smiled at you. Respect her freedom and protect your own dignity. The right connection will not require constant pursuit to remain alive. It may develop slowly. It may contain uncertainty. But underneath that uncertainty, there will be movement from both sides. Because attention can be temporary, chemistry can be misleading, and a beautiful first impression can disappear by morning. What matters is not how intensely someone looks at you during one evening. What matters is whether they continue walking toward you when the evening is over. Have you ever experienced this? A meeting that felt completely right, followed by distance you could not explain? Tell me what you learned from it in the comments. In the next video, I will talk about the difference between enjoying attention and having genuine interest. They can look almost identical in the beginning, but eventually, one important detail reveals the truth. Subscribe if you want to continue this conversation. High heels may attract attention. What lies beyond them is far more interesting. Welcome to Beyond High Heels.